message and the connection. And I think in your vision, as you shared it with me, it inspired something in me. Like, I think it's been a lifelong dream to have a music studio, to be able to use my voice to sing, to pray, to praise, to help others, and to be an advocate and to speak up. And all of that is sound. And for the last week, I have spent from 5:30 in the morning till about 5 p.m. every single day using my voice, talking every single day of the minute, literally just talking to people, consulting with them, advising people. But ultimately, it's the sound of my voice. It's the sound. It's like whatever you're hearing or perceiving, you find a little peace and resonance there. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I try to use my words with love and with honor, because I know how powerful they are and how transformational they are.
They are. They pulled me in. They pulled me in because when I reached out to you that first time, I thought, oh, well, there's a barrier. There's a barrier of distance. What I thought I was searching for, which was like a sound bath type of situation only, wasn't, looking for Reiki, didn't really understand what Reiki was, or that was something that I didn't really even know the terminology. Well, I'd heard it, but I didn't know what it was, or that it would be beneficial for me. But I kind of thought that, I'll move on to the next situation. But through your words, you spent time with me. You spent 20 minutes with me on the phone and really talked to me about what I wanted the sound bath for. What was I searching for? And you gave me, I went from like, I'll, probably never talk to her again. She seems like a nice lady and all, but what I was looking for is not, I think, what she has, to booking an appointment with you the next day or 2 days later, something like that, very quickly, and then getting really excited about it. And you did, you said the word, you use your resonance. Well, to resonate means to bounce off. It means to have opening for. You can't have resonance without opening. And when there is no opening, when the opening is restricted, then there is less resonance. So your work open the opportunity, or you open the person's ability to have your words resonate inside of them. And I think that's perspective, I'm writing these things down, like resonance is opening, and it can be restricted, and it can be, restrained, but you cannot have resonance if you have a closed vessel.
That's very true. Because that would make it an opposing frequency, and two opposing frequencies cannot occupy the same time or space. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And the resonance goes all the way back to a thinking or a knowing of oneness. We are the same. That's why we resonate. We're on that same frequency. We're on that same vibe.
Love that. I am thinking about that so much, the oneness. And, last night I woke up at 1:45 in the morning for no good reason. And I just got out my journal and I started journaling. And, I would just love to read you some of that.
I would love to actually have you read it, because I tell you what, just right now, when I was getting ready for us, I was trying to find paper and I was out of paper. I'm changing that in my mind, because with this project, I ran out of paper. You don't ever run out of tablet paper, so I have to type out my notes in advance my thing so that I could actually query my notes. But I found so many notes to myself that just blew my mind, that made me feel like, oh my God, my higher self really is speaking to me, really is working with me, really left me these traps. I was like, yes, which are not really traps. They're just things that help get me through moments that I didn't even realize I was going to need. But so I would love to hear what you wrote, because 1:45, that's an inspired time. I was actually up that same time, used the restroom. I don't know why it was around then, but it was. And so I would love to just even hear just a snippet of how you were being used in that hour, in that divine sacred hour.
And I just said to my cousin who I was talking to before we got on here, I was just telling her, and I've never said these words before. I have never talked to her like this before. I said, I wrote, and I said she was, you know, my higher self was helping me through this situation. And I don't know if my cousin was like thinking to herself, your higher self, what are you talking about? This other, what? Are you nuts? But I would love to share it with you because what happened is, right, you know that I had a breakup recently, and that man posted a picture on Facebook in front of the fireplace with a bottle of Prosecco and 2 champagne glasses. And that hurt when I was going to sleep, and I had to talk myself down, and I had to let myself be calm enough to sleep and bring my heart rate down. And I fell asleep, and I was all good. But then I woke up, and the moment that I woke up, my heart rate started to go up. And then I grabbed my pen and I started to write. And so what I got out of it was what you just said. You always do this. You so succinct. You say in a minute what takes me 10. You say in 10 seconds what takes me 5 minutes. That oneness, that connection to oneness, that self leading you. And that's a whole new concept.
Oh, wow. Blow your mind. Let's talk about it for just a second. Let's just dig in on that tangent right now for just a second. So oneness goes kind of, this is oneness, and hand in hand with oneness is the theory of everything all at once right now. Everything all at once right now. What's that mean? Okay, I write this movie. I have the film script for all this movie. It's this song. But when you sit and you watch the movie, you're going to get one frame at a time in a linear motion, and you're only going to see the movie as it progresses. But the truth is, all of the movie was there at once. The beginning, the middle, and the end. Even the conception was already there. That is life. Oneness, one stream. And it happens to not necessarily be linear. The thing that's linear seems to be the progression of the growth of our body, but our brain can go all the way back to that time when you were 12 and can go forward to that time where you hit the lottery, that time where you're on the blog and you have a following, you're actually helping people, you're communicating with them in ways that they never even knew that they could do, you're empowering them, transforming them, right? It can go there, and it can be right here in this beautiful, wonderful moment of fun, of exploration, of curiosity, of a passion that, you know, it's bigger than just talk. It's sound. But sound is everything, right? Sound is peace. Peace of mind is considered sound. Yeah. Are you of sound mind?
Are you of sound mind? And sound, and our brains are always trying, our brains don't want silence, actually. So it creates sound. So that's why, you know, I have some tinnitus or tinnitus. I don't know how to say it. People say it different ways, but I have that in my ears. And I was just thinking about that the other day, about how some people are driven crazy by that constant noise. And I actually thought to myself, what if I looked at that sound? If I contextualize that sound as the internal experience of being connected to everything, and that is my access point. Like, so instead of taking it from this ringing in my ears, and it's always there, and when it's quiet around me, it's louder, and it just seems to get louder because my brain doesn't want to hear the silence or to not have something to focus on. And I thought, well, what if instead that is just me having access to everything.
I love how you did that within yourself. You reframed it, you thought about it differently. And then what if you thought that you were not the sound?
Maybe not the truth.
What's that?
I said maybe not the truth. It's just it just was a positive context for me.
I love it. I love how you did that. And then you can break that down even further, right? Everything has a rabbit hole or an onion layer where you peel that back. So even peeling that back, you observed a thought and a sound. So if you're observing the thought and the sound, then you can't possibly be the thought or the sound that you are hearing. How does that feel on you?
Well, sometimes you just say things like that, and there's a little bit of that emoji, the mind blow.
Just a little bit, right? Because if you're the observer, what are you observing? I'm observing thoughts, then those thoughts can't be mine. The observer and the thought are different. That's how you observe it.
So that's cognition. That is the consciousness.
That's your awareness of self, of what self really is. And thoughts that you have, right? When you say, well, I just thought this. Well, maybe you felt this because feeling energy is in the air and you felt somebody else's thoughts, weren't even your thoughts, but you just, because of your ability, was able to interpret them and feel them and express them in words because you have a gift of communication. You have a gift that you've studied. You have a certain thing that you do every single day, day in and day out. So maybe you then were channeling someone else's thoughts and feeling someone else's feelings.
It's giving away my job here. You're giving away my anonymity, lady.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know. We're doing it now, though. Isn't that what we're doing? My degree is in communication. I went to college for it. I had a 3.5 GPA. And it's only real if we make it real. But I love that. That's what I wanted to be. I wrote poems. I talk, I tell, I teach. I'm Tamika. I told IT information talks. I teach IT information triggers. I test IT ideas in time. I'm it. I think IT is code. I think IT is God. Because isn't it truth?
See, there you go. This is why I love talking to you.
Yeah. So we had to get one goal out of today. What would your one goal be? Like one thing that would make you feel proud that we did this one thing.
Well, well, first of all, just the fact that we are making a recording about the starting of our vlog is progress. That is taking steps. That's taking action toward the dream, and the actions toward the dream make the dream happen. But I'm seeing that what we want to create content that's going to be heard by other people to help give them access to being unfinished and being joyful in that space.
Now. That's what I would add to that.
That
right
the unfinished
now
is about opening and resonating with maybe some new concepts or some old concepts heard newly by using people's minds who have developed themselves in certain ways like you have, and they blow my mind, and and sharing that when we can open up our consciousness, which is another terminology or another term that we should explore, you know, but that there are all of these different aspects to being in this human body and this human experience, being a human, living this life that is not perfect, and it's not you know, always the way we imagined that it would be. But being unfinished is about sanding off some of the things that maybe are attacking us a little bit or triggering us in certain ways, and maybe there's some things that we want to know more about or we've never heard about before that could give us access to feeling better about ourselves or feeling better about that we're leading or the life we want to live. And that you don't have to get to the end of the life, or you don't have to get to the end of some destination. This is where you cut the ribbon. This is where you get the diploma. This is where you flip the tassel on the cap. It doesn't have to look like that. It doesn't have to look like that you're research or that you're a leader. It just looks like you're living your best life.
That is exactly what I wrote. When I go home, I'm going to take a picture of it. And it was a picture of a poem that I wrote for my 8-year-old daughter about being drug-free and what that means. And I just kind of internalized that. And I'm like, let me try to write a poem about being, because I think that's pretty impossible for them to ask an 8-year-old that who has no real concept of what drugs are. And then, what do you believe? No, they actually do. But how do they control that? And how do they control the environments that it's in? And it just boggled me. So I wrote about that. And then you talked about journaling. So we've been so aligned from the very time we heard each other's sounds. It was kindred spirit sounds we were hearing. I mean, it was very divine. You're very strong. You're very strong. I see a talent in you and a desire to help in a way that makes me want to support it. It makes me want to put my time behind it, my thoughts behind it, my support behind it. I think how we can best get your message out, your vision out, our vision out, is just by simply structuring a few of our conversations with pre-planned questions where we're really thoughtful about how we'd like the conversation to flow. And we make sure that we touch on certain parts and we give ourselves a chance to prepare so that when we do come together, we can go in a format that others will be able to follow. I think you and I are unique in the sense that I feel like we're sisters. Like I literally do, like in another life, you might have even been my big sister, my mother, my auntie, cousin, somebody, family. It just feels so like that. I don't want to put too much on it. I don't want to put 5 on it. I ain't trying to put extra on it. But I was there. I felt what I felt. And we're doing what we're doing. So I just think we should put some structure around maybe 8 to 10 episodes. Just pick topics. And we can do that via email back and forth. I'll share a few thoughts, you share a few thoughts, and we can build it out together like during our free time. And then I think we should do weekly calls. I don't know if more than that is really possible for me in reality, but what I think is recording 1 a week, and then the editing for that will take up the rest of the time anyway. So having too much too fast is just too hard. So I say we set an 8-week cycle to start. We do content for 10 weeks. We start our email or our Google Docs and we organize our thoughts there. Sidebar conversations we can have as we're honing in on our message and getting our vibe together back and forth, like our flow, what we're going to do that's funny or what we're doing that's healing, or, you know, if we pick certain days, how we structure it.
Yes.
And then the special guest on a few of them, right, to cross-populate, and then how to grow the audience, to get an audience to actually speak to. So those will be conversations that we have week over week, and we can work through some during the week. But I think the important thing is that we record these so that way we can have behind the scenes. Even if we never use it, and even if we only use our audio, we'll have them for ourselves.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm writing those things down, and I'm loving it. I love that you're putting some structure to it, and that is not my forte. So I really appreciate that, and I will record down what we're saying here. I think having a dialogue document, and then a document that we can work on for the topic, and keeping things organized. And I was wondering, you just brought up this concept for me of what, because to me you're the oracle, you know, you're the guide, and I'm the layperson who is opening up to the resonance that you have to offer, or that you have the guidance to you know, to expand my mind, expand my heart, expand my thinking, expand my understanding, expand my lack of knowledge in certain areas. So like I get bigger as we go. You get bigger too, because you're gifting, I'm gifting, and we're receiving, and that is one thing we'll have to adjust. But then again, that's part of life. I just got a text message. It came through on the computer. That's how it goes. That's life. But